Going all over town. Can't keep my name out the mouth these days. Yeah, they say.
Guys, Bart here with television. And today we're getting into a comic book review. But before we start, I hope that today we can earn that subscription. Like, comment, share, whatever it is. Every interaction helps this channel grow. Because only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. But like I said, we're getting into how we started on this channel. We still do comic book reviews, only when I can get some cashola to buy them, so to speak. And we're getting into Uncanny X-Men number 6 here. I got the Rogue variant there for this particular issue. And yes, I realize that this series is up to like issue 18 or something like that, issue 16, but I found this series interesting enough to want to start collecting it and review it here at the channel. It's actually one of the first Gail Simone stories I'm reading, and pretty interesting so far with certain things. Like I said, Gail Simone is the writer, Matthew Wilson is the colorist. The cover artist for this particular issue is Adam Hughes, and the general artist for the issue is Javier Garro. We were getting David Marquise, I believe, for the first 5 issues, but I don't know if he's going to continue to be in and out on the series or not. But we dealt with the introduction of 4 new characters in the first 5 issues. Of course, we're talking about Jitter, Deathdream, Ransom, and Calico with her horse Ember. And one of them, according to a couple people like Harvey X and the villain Sarah that they faced, which was an old lover of Charles Xavier, is that one of these 4 is going to be the last mutant to survive on the planet, and as they watch all the other mutants die. And it's either going to be one of the 4 that I mentioned. I do have a couple of suspects myself. My initial suspect is Deathdream, because he can phase in and out of death at will. So, you know, how can you kill a character like that? We also have Ransom, who has no heart. So if you can't stop the heart, the only other way really to get him is a headshot, I guess. But this issue starts off with an interaction between Calico and her mother. Calico's wanting to maybe go to a normal school because one of the groundskeeper had mentioned he had a daughter, and maybe the daughter and her can be friends and stuff. He must have felt bad for this young lady, Calico, because it seems like she's always tied up in her house, so to speak. And her mother seems to be very controlling, calling a lot of other people out there goblins. That's where she thinks that everyone is a goblin, is through people outside, right? And mutants are the byproduct of angels and goblins having a baby, and because of that wrongness of it, is why they're born mutants, and that means that mutants are bad. So all this time, Calico was aware she had powers, but didn't want to admit that she was a mutant, because she didn't want to look like the byproduct of that, right, to her mother. But I think that when she left the house the day that it burnt down without checking on anybody, I think she really realized the abuse that she was suffering. For her to kind of be able to just go, like, leave like that, you know what I mean? To use her mother's own rules against her, and don't make any noise. Okay, well, bye. I'm not going to make any noise as this house burns down then. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay. But what the mother does is she calls up the foreman of the groundskeeper people and says that the same gentleman who wanted his daughter to be friends with Calico, The mother's claiming that he was a peeping Tom and was touching himself as he was watching her change. So she basically accused the man of something vile to get him fired because she wanted to prevent her daughter from making friends. But here we start off with them at Haven, and Calico is getting a little mad here because the people that run Haven, right, the people that are allowing them to stay there, he wants the kids to go to school. You know what I mean? Wolverine is still blinded from the fight with Sarah, and he gets Bronco bucked there, and Jitter's like, Jitter's asking what's happening. Death Jim's like, oh, I guess Wolverine's dead or something. I don't know. And Wolverine supposedly says that was the hardest he's been hit in a long time from a horse. I mean, I'm not saying that a horse isn't powerful. Break my ribs and stuff for sure. But this is a man who's fought people like the Hulk, Juggernaut. Um, but the horse was the hardest he's ever been hit. It's little things like that that kind of make me feel like, oh, brother, like you trying to make something bigger than what it's not. It hurt probably, but I highly doubt that that's been the hardest he's ever been hit. Okay, so basically, Rogue tries to kind of like not get in her face or anything like that, but Mr. St. Jr. isn't playing around. He's someone that wants people to contribute if he's giving up his time and property to people. Right? So Gambit kind of steps in and he's like, I know how you are. I am like that too, but I let these people help me. And you're a mutant. You're one of us. And so finally she accepts it like that, and I'm a mutant. And so they go to school. The little girl kind of gives her a dinosaur to hold to make her feel better, Calico, during the day at school. And then, of course, we run into some bullies here at the bus stop, in the bus. And Wolverine, the big thing with Wolverine at the moment is that he's possibly suffering from PTSD. He has his bottle of tequila that he had made a promise, a pact with his friends from the past, that the last one to survive will drink the tequila. And he doesn't want to drink it, so he wants to make the same pact with Rogue and Gambit. But Rogue is like, no, whatever, you need to get your mind straight. You're probably suffering from PTSD because of all the amount of trauma and loss that he suffered. And all right, I can dig that. Because I too have PTSD myself, and I can tell you that it makes you not feel like 100% in your mind, in your soul, your body. You just are always tense, always ready for something to happen. Even if it's a beautiful day of picking flowers and dipping your toes in the beach, type of day. So, anyway, we pick up then with Jubilee and Nightcrawler going to grocery shopping at the request of Mr. St. Jr. And we see Nightcrawler getting ready to save a little girl from getting hit by a truck. This was the tequila scene I was telling you about here. Nightcrawler saves the child, but while he's saving the child, we get Siren, we get Blob, and the head of security there of the doctor that's taking over Grey Malkin, right? They capture Jubilee. And as the mother's thanking Nightcrawler, you think that she's going to yell at him, but she winds up thanking him. All right? They were just talking about children. And so a cop comes over. He wants to arrest Nightcrawler, but the mother says, you're going to have a hard time doing that or whatever like that because she didn't see anything. So when Nightcrawler goes back to the store to reconnect with Jubilee, he notices that she's captured. And he makes contact with Rogue. Rogue calls him back to base. And they're going to try to figure out where Jubilee went to. We're also dealing with the kids, their first day at school. They're meeting the principal. He kind of gives them a little signal to let them know that he's down with the mutants, so to speak. And so this guy right here is a real fucking dick. He really is picking on her because she has a stutter. And he even said at one point, oh, I'll give her a charity, paying the taxes time. So that's really what it is. He's that kid that will tug on your pigtail or your ponytail on the playground, but he wants to just be your boyfriend and watch movies with you and hold your hand, right? And also at the same time, Calico gets requested to go to the gym for something, and she also gets captured. And here we are, this little bum with Jubilee and Calico imprisoned. And that's where we leave that issue. Two of our Uncanny X-Men team, or at least one teacher and one student, are now under captivity at Grey Malkin. The Raid on Grey Malkin story was a 4-part series between the Uncanny and the Adjectiveless X-Men series. The team that's based out in Anchorage, Alaska, I believe, that's led by Cyclops. They're going to team up, I guess, because I think that Beast also winds up getting captured around this time. And that's the Beast from like the 80s. The 80s, he was a clone. When Hank McCoy went crazy and got defeated, this clone activated, and it's basically Hank before all this craziness happened with him sending Wolverine and X-Force on assassination hits and all this other stuff before he became Dark Beast. I think Dark Beast is still out there somewhere too, so to speak. That's what I'm calling him. Not the Dark Beast from the Age of Apocalypse, but Dark Beast from the Age of Krakoa. I think he's still out there even. I could be wrong about that. But basically, issue 7 is going to cover part of the crossover. I think issue 8 is going to also have a part in the crossover. And that's where we'll be following the story in the next two issues. I'm personally, again, more liking the series than not. There's a couple of things, of course, that you're always going to not agree with or feel like that wasn't necessary to, or whatever the case. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's always going to be that little nitpick that we all have. But so far, I've been enjoying the ride. I like to maybe do some research between now and the next issue of this on where Jubilee's son is. Because Jubilee does have a child, but he's not with her at the moment. And so I might do a little research on that and see where he's at in conjunction on what she's doing and why he's not with her son. But that's my thoughts on this issue. Let me know down below what you think about Uncanny X-Men issue number 6. And always remember, guys, how awesome and amazing you are. And that today is the day that everything can go your way. But until next time, peace, Snookums.